Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer too. I'm half crazy, all for the love of you. It won't be a stylish marriage, I can't afford a carriage.
Hello, Cubanwriter here, and I'm here with Darklingfae to review Justice League Dark. Something that was on my list of things to watch, but I was putting it off until you said you wanted to see it.
Yes, it was actually very good, and I take full credit for it.
I think you just wanted to see this because you didn't want to watch another Iron Fist.
No comment.
Well, Justice League Dark appears to involve the formation of a new subcategory of Justice League individuals who deal specifically with the supernatural. And this is a team assembled by Batman when supernatural events start occurring around the city and he's not really equipped to deal with it himself. And I think begrudgingly he reaches out to these other people.
I think the one thing that we should talk about is emphasis on the dark.
Oh, Jesus, right? In the first, 5 minutes of this movie, I saw more murders and heinous acts than you see in most full horror films.
Yeah, this was definitely an emphasis on the dark part. They went pretty dark. And I actually liked that.
I did too. This was more adult and sophisticated in its treatment of good and evil than most live action films I've seen.
Yeah, I definitely like that. I like the sophisticated part of it. It really did feel like more of a grown-up story. Even though it was animated and a cartoon, you didn't feel like for once that these kind of superheroes weren't made for children. You felt like it really was like an adult world where adults could really, I don't know, like gravitate towards this type of universe and these type of heroes.
Yeah, they weren't pulling any punches. They weren't saying to themselves, well, we can't show this because this is a comic book thing for children. This isn't a comic book thing for children. Their target audience is clearly late teens to adults, and they were prepared to show innocent people dying, very violent imagery, really dark situations. The dark, I think, refers to dark magic, but in this case, dark might as well regard the dramatic darkness of what's going on because it's pretty dark right off the bat.
Yeah, it was very gritty. It had a lot of grit to it that you normally don't get in these type of stories. It's kind of what I was hoping to get when we had seen The Killing Joke in the theaters. I wanted to see that kind of gritty darkness, kind of reality that type of story normally should be told with. And I didn't get that satisfaction at all from that. And I felt like I got that in this particular rendition of Justice League.
Yeah, it wasn't realistic, of course, in the sense of things that occur in our world, but it was definitely realistic in terms of the realistic consequences of these kinds of abilities and powers being unleashed into the world. So it was the more important kind of realism, the kind of realism where you feel like if A should happen, B should be the consequence of it happening. And there was plenty of consequences for things happening.
Yeah, the dialogue was really wonderful. I felt like the writers were really on point. They had some witty moments that did make it so that it wasn't all so grotesquely and dark and ominous and brutally graphic and horror. Those like little moments of levity in some of the lines that are said and the conversations and dialogue between the characters, I thought gave it just that little bit that was needed so it wasn't so over the top.
Yeah, there was nothing anybody said that felt wrong, and frequently I found myself smiling or chuckling at the things that were being said because it felt like intelligent people talking to one another. I also loved the animation. It was really well done. I think back to the Killing Joke you brought up earlier. The animation wasn't that smooth or well done in the Killing Joke. You could freeze certain images and it would remind you of the comic, but overall, I was kind of disappointed in the Killing Jokes animation. This animation, by contrast, was top-notch stuff. Everything looked beautiful. Everything was smooth. The characters were very well rendered. I really had no complaints. And the way they depicted magic was very creative and visually interesting at all times.
I would have loved to have actually seen this in the theater. This would be really good to see on the big screen. This really would do well in that type of setting, I think.
Now, I will go ahead and jump to the flip side and say what didn't tickle me as much about this, and it's an inevitability whenever you're dealing with something that's magic heavy. The rules really aren't understood. They could be making things up as they go along. Unlike real life, when someone shoots a gun and it hits an object, you know exactly what's going to happen. In a magical universe, they can have anything happen they want to happen, and that sense of nebulousness eats at me. But despite that, I found the film very enjoyable, and I was able to suspend my disbelief enough to say, okay, so the rules of magic aren't as concrete as the rules of physics, but I enjoyed it. It was good.
So did you not like the Green Lantern then? Because can't he just basically do whatever with his magic?
I actually don't like the Green Lantern because he can do anything he wants with his ring. It's not magic, it's technology. But I don't like characters that can almost do anything, and that is a flaw of magical characters. They can do almost anything at any time that the plot requires. So I do have to suspend my disbelief and overlook that kind of nebulous nature to reality in the story. But it speaks well to this film that despite the fact that it has characters that could pretty much be doing anything at any time and justify it under magic, still, it was fun to watch. I still liked it.
Yeah, I like that they brought some different characters that you don't get to see a lot, like the Swamp Thing. I thought that was really nice, how you got to see some attention on other type of, I don't know if you really want to call them heroic characters, but characters you know about but don't always get any kind of screen time. Usually the ones that you normally get to see are, of course, like Wonder Woman and Superman and Batman and all the others. So it was really nice that there was more focus on different things like Constantine and Zatanna, and I liked that. It was kind of nice that you got to see more of a backstory and a history to those that you normally don't get to see.
I also liked who they picked to be our bridge to the mystical people was Batman, both the darkest member of the Justice League and the most normal. So we could kind of put ourselves in his shoes as the normal guy dealing with all this mystical stuff, and it was a very good vehicle to focus our attention and bring us into the drama.
And again, you kind of need that kind of straight man character anyways, because there always has to be a balance. Like, you need a little bit of humor, you need a little levity with the darkness as well. It can't all be one, and his character really works well with being able to bring that balance that you need, that little bit of wit that needs to come into play.
Yeah, the dry wit. I have a butler. Sorry.
Best line ever. Well, you can see that in the trailer, so
That's
I'm not giving anything away by saying that. It's still the best line in the movie, so definitely watch the trailer, and I would really highly recommend this. This was a really good time.
Yeah, I'd say 4.5 out of 5 stars for this.
I'd give it 5.
Well, high praise from Darklingfae. On that note, I will sign off and wish you all a wonderful evening.
Goodbye, darling.
Catch you all next time.
But you'll look sweet upon the seat of a bicycle built for two. Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer, do.